Then Imam al-Barbahari rahimahullah, he continues, and what comes here on page 240 of the 2-volume correct edition, point number 31, that Imam al-Barbahari rahimahullah, he said, وَيَحِلُّ قِتَالُ الْخَوَارِجِ إِذَا عَرَضُوا لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ فِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ وَأَهْلِيهِمْ وَلَيْسَ لَهُ إِذَا فَارَقُوهُمْ. That's what it says, فَارَقُوهُمْ, and perhaps it should be, as in many of the other versions, if not all of them, إِذَا فَارَقُوهُ وَلَيْسَ لَهُ إِذَا فَارَقُوهُ أَنْ يَطْلُبَهُمْ وَلَا يُجْهِزُ عَلَى جَرِيحِهِمْ وَلَا يَأْخُذُ فَيْئَهُمْ وَلَا يَقْتُلُ أَسِيرَهُمْ وَلَا يَتْبَعُ مُدْبِرَهُمْ. He's saying, rahimahullah, and it is permissible to fight the Khawaarij if they attack the property, persons or families of the Muslims. But if they desist and depart, then it is not his right to chase them, nor are they wounded to be killed, nor may he seize their property as booty, nor may he kill those of them taken captive, nor may he chase those of them who flee. Shaykh Fawzan, hafidhahullah, he said in explanation, we have come to know that the Khawaarij are those who hold breaking away from obedience, and they hold that there is no pledge of allegiance to the person in authority, to the ruler. There's no bay'ah to him, no pledge of authority, or that no bay'ah, no pledge remains if he commits sin, and they declare the Muslims to be disbelievers on account of major sins. And the Shaykh said, so those people who accept this position, but they do not have strength and they do not fight, then they are left, along with their being advised and having the affair made clear to them, so that perhaps they may return. But as for if they come to have strength and they manifest their force, then it becomes obligatory upon the Muslims to fight against them, to repel their evil. And they are not fought against upon the basis that they are disbelievers. And the Khawaarij are not fought because they're disbelievers, therefore we fight them. No. The Shaykh said they are not fought upon the basis that they are disbelievers. Rather, they are fought against upon the basis that they are Muslims who have transgressed against the Muslims and attacked them. And for this reason, when the chief of the believers, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali radiallahu anhu, was questioned about the Khawaarij and asked, أَكُفَّارٌ هُمْ, are they disbelievers? He said, لَا مِنَ الْكُفْرِ فَرُّوا وَلَكِنَّهُمْ قَوْمٌ بَغَوْا عَلَيْنَا. When Ali radiallahu anhu was asked about the Khawaarij, are they disbelievers? So he said, no, they fled away from disbelief, but rather they are a people who transgressed against us. In a footnote here, there's some length to this footnote, so they bring a couple of footnotes here, but inshallah there's some benefit in. That firstly they mention, you'll find this report reported by Abdul Razak in his Musannaf, and Al-Bayhaqi in as-Sunan al-Kubra. And just as an addition to that, you'll find some narrations reported by Ibn Abi Shayba also in his Musannaf, as indicated here, also by Al-Bayhaqi, some reports. And some of the reports contain the wording that Ali radiallahu anhu said something similar to this with regard to the people of the Camel, I mean the companions who fought against him in the Battle of the Camel. And in some of the reports it mentions that he said something like this with regard to the Khawaarij at Nahrawan. And as for this wording that Shaykh Fawzan mentioned here, that is indeed, as Shaykh Fawzan mentioned it, he said it with regard to the Khawaarij, this particular wording here. And there's an important difference with regard to the wording. Then they bring a footnote where they bring some quotes from Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. So they say, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said in Risalatu Fadli Ahl al-Bayt wa Huquqihim, a treatise with regard to the virtue of the Ahlul Bayt, the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and their rights. And Shaykh al-Islam said in this treatise, it is established from Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali radiallahu anhu through different reports, different chains, that when he fought against the people of the Camel, he did not take their children as slaves, and he did not take their wealth as booty, and he did not kill their wounded ones, and he did not chase after those who fled, and he did not kill any captive, and he prayed funeral prayer over those who had been killed from both sides, the Battle of the Camel. Those who died from his own army, those who had been killed from his own army, those who had been killed from the companions on the other side. He prayed funeral prayer over both sets of them, at both the Battle of the Camel and the Battle of Siffin. And he said, Ikhwanuna baghaw alayna. And he said in that context, they are our brothers. They transgressed against us. And he informed that they are not disbelievers, nor are they hypocrites. And in what he said, he was following the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of his Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, since he called them brothers, and he declared them to be believers in the fighting and in the transgression. Along with the fighting, along with the transgression, still he called them brothers. Just as is mentioned in his saying, وَإِن طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ اقْتَتَلُوا, Surah Al-Hujurat, the 48th Surah, Ayah 9, to the end of the Ayah. Just mention it. You just mentioned the part of the ayah's indication of the ayah. Then they bring a quote from the same treatise from Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah that he also said 2 pages later. They are not equal. Those who were killed, who he prayed over, and he called them Ikhwanuna, our brothers, they are not equal along with those whom he did not pray over. Now mentioned the Khawaarij at the Battle of Nahrawan, and those he did not pray over. Rather, when it was said to him, who are those people who ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صَنْعًا, quoting the ayah from Surah Al-Kahf, the 18th Surah, towards the end of the Surah, when someone asked him, who are those people whose striving in this world will be lost, will be in vain, whilst they think that they are doing good? That he replied, Hum ahlu harura. So they are the people of Harura, I mean the Khawaarij. So that's the different way that he treated those who fought against him at the Battle of Camel, Battle of Siffin, from the companions and those who were with them. He prayed funeral prayer over them. As for the Khawaarij, that's what he quoted with regard to them. Also, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah mentioned, rahimahullah, and likewise, and this is a quote from his book Minhaj as-Sunnah, that he said, and likewise the people of Siffin, he prayed the funeral prayer over those who were killed from them, and he said, Ikhwanuna baghaw alayna tahharahum as-sayf. He said, they are our brothers. They transgressed against us. They fought against. They came against us, but the sword purified them. He said, and if in his view they had been disbelievers, he would not have prayed funeral prayer over them, and he would not have declared them to be brothers, and he would not have stated that the sword purified anything from them. Just before finishing, Shaykh Abdul Malik al-Ramadani, in his book Takhlis al-Ibad, his book of refutation upon the modern day Khawaarij, corruption causes. He mentioned what is authentic from Ali radiallahu anhu. There's an important difference to make here in these reports, that both what he said with regard to the people of Jamal and Siffin is authentic, and what he said with regard to the Khawaarij is authentic. However, when he used the word Ikhwanuna Baghaw alayna, this is only authentic with regard to the people of the Jamal and Siffin. With regard to companions, those who died at the Battle of the Camel and the Battle of Siffin, he said, our brothers, they transgressed against us. With regard to the Khawaarij, the wording is as Shaykh Fawzan put it here. What's authentic with regard to the Khawaarij, that he said, قَوْمٌ بَغَوْا عَلَيْنَا. When they were asked, are they disbelievers? He said, no, they fled from disbelief. قَوْمٌ وَلَكِنَّهُمْ قَوْمٌ بَغَوْا عَلَيْنَا. They are a people who transgressed against us. He didn't call them his brothers. He said, they are people who transgressed against us. And then he quoted the same quotes from Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. So just that important point, sometimes that point is confused there. But what Ali radiallahu anhu said with regard to the Khawaarij is sometimes misunderstood or misquoted. Back to what Shaykh Fawzan said in his explanation, Hafidhahullah, he said, having quoted the saying of Ali radiallahu anhu, he said with regard to the Khawaarij, they fled away from disbelief, but rather they transgressed against us. They are a people, Qawmun, who transgressed against us. Then he said, so they, the Khawaarij, they are not fought against upon the basis that they are disbelievers. And therefore their women and their children are not taken as slaves, and their property is not seized. And those of them who are injured are not killed, because the fighting against them is just to repel their evil, not because of their being disbelievers. Then he quotes the next phrase from the text. He's saying, وَيَحِلُّ قِتَالُ الْخَوَارِجِ إِذَا عَرَضُوا لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ فِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ وَأَهْلِيهِمْ. And it is permissible to fight against the Khawaarij if they attack the Muslims with regard to their property, their persons and their families. Shaykh Fawzan said, because the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam commanded that they be fought against, and because Ali radiallahu anhu, he fought against them when they attacked Abdullah ibn Khabbab ibn al-Arat radiallahu anhu, and they killed him, and they split open the abdomen of his slave girl who was pregnant. So then when they did that, then the chief of the believers, Ali radiallahu anhu, he resolved to fight them, because the first signs of their evil had now appeared from them. And they were there as a group, they were there already. When they did the like of this, then Ali radiallahu anhu resolved to fight them. Shaykh Fawzan said, he's saying, وَلَيْسَ لَهُ إِذَا فَارَقُوهُمْ أَفَارَقُوهُ أَنْ يَطْلُبَهُمْ. And he said, but it is not for him, Muslim ruler, it is not for him if they desist and leave them alone, I mean they leave the Muslims alone, it is not for him to then chase them. Shaykh Fawzan said, if they desist from fighting, then it is not for the ruler to chase them and to wage war against them, as long as they do not commit transgression. So they are astray, without any doubt, and it is obligatory to give them advice, so that perhaps they will return. However, they are not to be fought. In the Khawaarij, in that case, when they don't fight, they withhold from fighting, then they're not to be fought now. He said, he's saying, وَلَا يُجْهِزُ عَلَى جَرِيحِهِمْ. And he may not kill the injured. Shaykh said, because the wounded person, his evil has been curbed. He's wounded in battle now, he can't do anything. His evil has already been curbed by his injury there. He said, he's saying, وَلَا يَأْخُذُ فَيْئَهُمْ. And he may not take their property as booty. All this refers to the Khawaarij. He may not take their property as booty. Shaykh said, meaning their property is not taken as ghanima, as booty, as spoils of war. because it is property of the Muslims. He said he's saying وَلَا يَقْتُلُوا أَسِيرَهُمْ, and he may not kill those of them taken prisoner. Shaykh Fawzan said because they are Muslims and their evil has been prevented by their having been taken captive and by their being wounded, and that's sufficient. He said he's saying وَلَا يَتْبَعُوا مُدْبِرَهُمْ, and those of them who flee away are not to be chased. Shaykh Fawzan said if they are defeated, then the ruler leaves them alone and he does not chase after them because their evil has been repelled.